I think get the popcorn out, because I believe Tesla's a stock that could ultimately double from here over the next 18 months. It's been obviously a parabolic move, but as me and you have talked about, autonomous itself, we think is worth $1 trillion. So when you think today, I view Tesla as the most undervalued AI name in the market. It is not ridiculous. It might almost be conservative to think, could this be a $500, $600 stock? As the autonomous ultimately plays out, I think the margin story is definitely stabilized here. And I think investors, look, the haters continue to hate. They hate.
Get your popcorn ready, because I think Tesla's stock has the potential to quadruple in value over the next 18 months. It's been a parabolic move, of course, but as you and I have discussed, autonomous itself is worth $1 trillion. Therefore, in my opinion, Tesla is the most underappreciated AI brand available now. It's not absurd. In my opinion, Elon Musk is being cautious by speculating that depending on how the autonomous finally turns out, the stock may be worth between $500 0 cents and $600 0 cents. The margin issue has, in my opinion, settled down here, and investors, look, the haters still hate. They will dislike it here just as much as they did at around $50 0 cents. However, I believe that when we sit here and look at the market in 2025, this will be kind of a golden star, about what we envision for Tesla. 2 trillion, in my opinion, is imminent. When it comes to big tech, you're undoubtedly witnessing the strong becoming stronger. And even though this is going to be a UFC fight between huge tech companies, I believe that after it's all said and done, the noise will outweigh the reality, not only for Microsoft, but also for Google and other companies. For tech, it is encouraging to believe that one of the main reasons Trump was elected was because when you consider cash out, the FTC was optimistic for big tech, less regulation, in my opinion. Then who is seated directly beside Trump at the table? It's Musk. And in my opinion, that will also have a significant unofficial impact on some of these selections and the overall outcome of this. Regarding this AI revolution, however, I still believe that it is 10 p.m. at that party that lasts till 4 a.m. And I don't see any of these appointments altering that party or causing it to end early. I believe that the IT market is in a bull market that will last well into 2025 and 2026. And I believe that a lot of the commotion we see here is more about getting these treasures rather than having time to worry. You look at Optimus in relation to Cybercab, what we observed and what will actually happen over the next, call it 18 to 24 months. In my opinion, robotics is the field in which Optimus currently has no place in the narrative. Most significantly, I believe that the unsupervised FSD will be implemented in all Tesla models before the end of the year, at least in California. And I believe that's the reason I won't be talking about anything that's making a difference in the next quarter or two. Regarding the upcoming years, however, I think it will fundamentally alter the narrative around Tesla's remarkable expansion. It goes beyond merely watching from the sidelines. With the most recent information on Tesla, stock price targets, innovation, and all things Elon Musk, Seeking Alpha is the one-stop shop for Tesla bulls and those with an eye for finding the next big thing in the stock market. Our channel may get a commission if a customer makes a purchase after clicking on the affiliate links in the description. I believe the main focus was on whether they could earn less than 50 cents per mile. Elon Musk mentioned 20 cents per mile, which may increase to 30 to 40 cents after taxes. Given our assessment of the ride-sharing market as a whole and the potential gains, there is no reason why Cybercab, which is evident from the two words, cannot end up accounting for 10, 15, and 20% of Tesla's total profits as it ramps up over the next 3 to 4 years. That adds up to 1.5 billion miles of driving. In 3 or 4 years, I believe we will consider yesterday night to be a historical event, because in the end, I think they will be a definite leader in broader autonomy, which is the next chapter in the tale. And if you look at Cybercab now, I believe it demonstrates that is only a single piece. I believe that the Model 2, a less expensive car, is another factor contributing to the stock's decline. They failed to display it. They probably won't show up. We didn't anticipate that they would display that during the event. That, in my opinion, is still the 2025 tale. Therefore, I believe that demand is stabilizing on a larger scale. Only a strong quarter for China I believe that COGS will decrease. In 2025, you have a Model 2 or 2.5. I contend that Optimus is the most underappreciated AI brand on the market. When I look at the future, the next 2 to 3 years, and you look at just a few of the components like Cybercab, we pointed out that the lack of details was a drawback. It's also the reason we're looking for further information. But in my opinion, you might not receive as many facts at an event like that with Musk and Tesla as you would like. However, the reason we had such a fantastic outcome from the test drives is true, as can be seen if you look at Cybercab in production right now. We're not discussing prototypes here. They begin producing this in 2026. And as we go into the following year, this begins to take shape. And FSD is the deciding factor. When FSD penetration rises at Tesla, the narrative drastically shifts. In my opinion, you should essentially have some information by the end of this year or the beginning of next year on the release date of the less expensive car, the manufacturing schedule, and the rollout strategy for Cybercab and FSD as a whole for 2025 and COGS above everything else, because the main objective is for Tesla to be able to drastically reduce COGS, particularly with the next generation platform. If that occurs, you may project the statistics for the following year or two. In my opinion, they are 40-50% understated. That is what we must witness. You will most likely need to reassess things if 6 months later we are still sitting here without it. However, if I go back over the past several years, I believe they have a lot more coming than they ever had in the plan. Indeed, I believe it sharpens the knife between bulls and bears, since the bears will argue about missing gross margins, further price reduction, and declining ASPs. However, this narrative is about robots, AI, robotaxi, and in my opinion, a price stabilization that is taking place. Additionally, I believe that demand in China is now beginning to improve. Therefore, I'm actually more optimistic about the Tesla autonomous robotaxi narrative today than I was 24 hours ago, because I think they described what I expect would be a similar concept. In fact, they are rather optimistic about what they anticipate beginning to observe, where this year, I think possibly into next year, you add, if you clearly went back 3 months ago, stock's 140, the bears believe it will drop below 100. Take a look at it now. The key is that investors are beginning to see the AI narrative, which is why we are where we are today. The most underappreciated AI play, in my opinion, is Tesla. We believe that AI by itself may be worth $1 trillion. In terms of pricing and demand, this name is also stabilizing. This is obvious because we have stated it and discussed it in public. For me, the main focus is on Tesla's increasing emphasis on the AI narrative, and I believe that's what investors are looking for. Since day one, I have never thought of Tesla as an automobile manufacturer. It's a disruptive technological name, in my opinion. However, that's the reason. Look, today the bears will be out. They're definitely on the margin. The stock is down because of this. However, I think that in a few weeks or months, investors will begin to pay more and more attention to, yes, I do believe in margins. That has in fact contributed significantly to the story's overhang. They had a 200 BIP advantage. Price reductions in the past, when you add that to the growth prediction, they supplied 20-30%, which I believe were whisper figures that were referred to as 10-11%. This quarter is reminiscent of Era Judge. Yes, I believe that by the first part of next year, you will have a car that is under $30.00 K. And all of that, in my opinion, fits into their total growth projection of 20 to 30% starting in 2025. Now consider their costs of products and their capacity to manufacture automobiles. In the end, it's down 30 to 40%, and it may drop another 20 to 30% in the next year. Without a question, the year has been difficult for EVs and lower demand, as seen by the margins. I believe that the current growth boom is continuing till 2025. Then there is AI, autonomous, and I believe many more growth drivers, which in my opinion are essential to what I believe to be a market valuation of at least $1 trillion.